Hello there, Mr. Sutton here, bringing you the Pre-Cal Honors 9-1 Part 1 homework solutions on finite intuitive limits. For Part B, they're saying as we approach 0 from the left side, the limit is 0. So here's the x value 0. Approaching from the left side, we're going toward the y value 0, so that's true. Next, they're saying the left and the right side limits at x equals 0 are both the same thing. So from the left, we're going to 0. From the right, we are approaching the y value 0, so that is true. Next, they're saying the limit of f of x at x equals 0 exists. Well, since the left and the right limit match up, as we saw in Part C here, that means the overall two-sided limit exists there, so this is also true. And finally, they're saying the limit as x approaches 0 of f of x equals 0. Well, that is the number that they are both approaching, so that's also true. Here are the rest of the parts to that problem using that same graph. So for part F, they're saying limit as x approaches 0 is 1. Well, we just established the limit as x approaches 0 is 0, not 1. So that's a false statement. And then for part G, limit as x approaches 1 equals 1. Well, as we approach from the left, we're going towards the y value 1, so that's true. However, as we approach from the right side, we're going toward the y value 0. Since the left and the right don't match up on the limit at 1, that means that there is no limit. So that's a false statement saying that the limit is 1 when in fact it's dne. And then for h, limit as x approaches 1 is 0. So we've already established that the limit does not exist as x approaches 1, so that's also false. And then finally, limit as x approaches 2 from the left side, so that's right here approaching from the left side. They're claiming that's 2. It's definitely not. It's 0. So that means that this is also a false statement. For this problem, we're trying to find some limits and function values for the function represented in this graph here, the g function. For the first one, and these are all about the t value now at t equals -4. So for the first problem part, they want to know as you approach -4 from the left side what the limit is. So here's -4. As we approach from the left side here, we're heading toward the y value, let's see, that's 5 up there. And then the next question, as we approach -4 from the right side here, we're going toward the y value 2. The two-sided limit is only going to be a number if we can agree on the number between the left and the right. Since left and the right limits do not match up, that means that there is no limit, does not exist at -4 from the two-sided limit. And then finally, g of -4, that's the function value at -4. That's wherever you see a solid dot or line. And the only solid dot's at 2, so that's going to be g of -4. On this problem, we're asking about the limits and function values at h equals 0 for the f function represented here. So the left side limit, part A, left side limit, as we approach from the left toward the x value 0, we're approaching the y value -4. And as we approach from the right side for part B, we're still going towards -4. Since the two limits agree, that means the overall two-sided limit at 0 is -4. And the function value, well, there's a solid line here at x equals 0, down here at y equals -4. So that's also going to be the function value there. On this problem, we're asking about limits and function values of the p function as s, that's our input axis apparently, as s approaches -2. So we're asking about this spot right here at this little cusp. So the left-sided limit there, as you approach from the left, we're approaching the y value 3. Same thing as you approach from the right side actually, which means the two-sided limit there is going to be +3. And then p of -2, that's wherever there's something solid at s equals -2. So that also apparently is going to be 3. On this problem, we're trying to figure out some things about x equals 3 and this other random thing at x equals 0 for the f function on this graph. So we're starting with f of 3. That's wherever we have a solid dot at x equals 3. Looking over at x equals 3, this little strip right here, we have a solid dot at, let's see, this appears to be 1. So that's f of 3. For part B, we want the left-sided limit at 3. So as we approach from the left side, we're heading toward the y value 3. And now for for part C, or as we're approaching 3 from the right side, we're down here at the y value -2. Since these two limits are different, since left and right do not agree, that means that we have no limit as x approaches 3 for f of x, no two-sided limit anyway. And then finally, limit as x approaches 0 of f of x, that's right here. We're approaching from the left and the right toward that y value of 3. For this problem, we're trying to figure out some information at x equals -1, 1, and 3 for the g function on this graph. So for the first question, we're asking for the right side limit as x approaches -1. So here's -1. As we approach from the right side, we're heading toward the y value 1. Now for part B, we're asking about the two-sided limit at g. So as you approach from the left side toward -1, we have a y value of 2. From the right side, as mentioned before, we have a y value of 1. Since left and right do not match up here for the g function, that means that we have no limit as x approaches -1 from both sides. And then for part C, as x approaches +1 from both sides, from the left we're at -2, from the right we're also going toward -2, so that's our limit as x approaches 1. And as x approaches 3, that's this spot right here, from the left we're moving toward the y value 1, from the right we're also moving toward the y value 1, so 1 it is for part D. For this problem, we have the graph of f shown above. We want to know which of the following limits does not exist. So we've got choice A here as we approach 1 from the left side. As we approach 1 from the left, we definitely have a limit, that's 0. Next one, as we approach 1 from both sides, well, from both sides, we're ending up with 0. So that definitely exists. Choice C, as we approach 3 from the left side. As we approach 3 from the left, that's the y value 2. That exists. Choice D, approaching 3 from both sides. Well, from the left, we're going towards 2. From the right side, we're going to negative infinity, it looks like. Pretty far down. It's not 2 anyway. And then, so choice D looks like it doesn't exist. But let's just take a look at choice E. Limit as x approaches 5. So that's right here. That limit is going to exist. You approach from the left and the right toward that hole. You're approaching the same y value. So it's just going to be the left and the right limit not matching at 3 that decides this for us. So that's going to give us choice D.